I've been asked to do shooting from the hip, some tips for newbies. Welcome to the world of cigars, Cuban cigars specifically. Now I'm just going to focus on 4 things. What are they? Mindset, sourcing, storing and aging. So let's start with mindset when you're first starting off in Cuban cigars. And this is really important because the most important thing to do is relax. Just relax. Take your time. Most of the errors that experienced members have made in the world of cigars or purchasing Cuban cigars have been made in those opening months, opening years. Try not to make those mistakes. Don't go and buy everything you see. Don't start following gurus around, because the reality is there are very, very few gurus in this industry. I would say there's absolutely none. So your tastes are going to be different to other people's tastes. When you're first starting out, really, just relax. Secondly, sourcing. There are some great vendors around the world, including ourselves, but there are superb vendors. Buy from a variety of vendors. If you're not quite sure who those vendors are, spend some time with Friends of Habanos or other Facebook groups. Before long, people will PM you. You can PM other people. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out where the best Cuban cigars are coming from or who's doing good pricing or deals or whatever. Just be a little bit careful. Again, take your time. And what I mean by time, I'm talking, if you're new to Cuban cigars, it's going to take you 2 to 3 years to really get your head around it. It's not something to be afraid of. Enjoy the journey. The journey is the best part. Okay. The next one is storing. Storing of Cuban cigars. My Cuban cigars, and I think the majority of my members will store their Cuban cigars at around 65% relative humidity. I store my cigars at a temperature that's 18 degrees centigrade, but really, as long as it's under 21 degrees centigrade, which I think is 70 Fahrenheit, you're going to be fairly sweet. The dry boxing aspect, if you don't know what dry boxing is putting the cigars into a separate humidor, a separate environment that will actually dry them out a little bit more. A lot of people enjoy smoking their cigars at a 62% relative humidity or below. Once it gets below 60, I'm starting to feel a little bit of bitterness coming through. So it is a fine line, but again, I've got mates who will smoke them right down to 55% relative humidity and love them best at that. So I'm not going to argue the point. There's no right and wrong. Try to avoid people in this industry who tell you that there are rights and wrongs, or there's just blacks and whites. There's not. Finally, aging cigars. Well, aged cigars, what is an aged cigar? For me, an aged cigar is a cigar over 5 years of age. Vintage cigars over 10 years of age, 15 years of age. Some people will say 20 years, other people will say it really doesn't matter. I have a real 5 to 8's great. I think for Cuban cigars, you get them between that 5 and 8 year window, they're going to be superb. Now, you can really trade your way to aged cigars if you be a little bit careful when you're buying aged cigars online. Running out and buying boxes online is an issue, because a lot of those boxes may have been passed over by other people. So if you're new to this game, buying aged cigars online is perilous. Absolutely perilous. You could end up with a dozen boxes in your cigars, maybe $10,000 or $12,000 worth of an investment that you just can't smoke. So don't do it. Take your time. Age your own. Buy 2 boxes instead of 1 if you've got the coin. Put 1 away down the track. If not, there are some good vendors around the world that do have some decent aged stock. There's also FOH auctions that you can participate in. But outside of that, just take your time. Age your own cigars if you can. A great way is when you're part of a community or a Facebook group, you can certainly perhaps trade for some cigars. You just want to try 2 or 3 punches that have got 6, 7, 8 years on them. Maybe a Monte Cristo Especial that's got 15 years on it, and then compare it to a young Monte Especial and see where the differences are. It is a ton of fun. But remember, for me, 5 to 8 is great. So that's enough for this week, and I hope that gives our newbies a little bit of guidance. But again, just take whatever I say with a grain of salt. Cheers.